Hello. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the today's session on problem solving through programming in C. So, this is the 12th and the last session for this semester. There will be an extra session on Sunday, so stay tuned on the website. So, we will having an extra session where I will be summarizing the entire topics covered throughout this session, and I will solve few of the problems from the existing topics. So, it's all six already. So let's wait for a few minutes so that everyone can join, and then we can start this session. So hello everyone. Am I audible and is my screen visible? Just confirm by typing in the chat box. Anyone please type in the chat box to confirm that I am audible and my screen is also visible. Great. So let's wait for a few more minutes and then we'll start the session. So let's allow some more people to join. So, hi everyone, let's start the session. So, in this session, we will talk about some problems on pointers and structs in C, and then we'll solve some programming problems. Fine. So, anyone just confirm that there are no technical glitches. You are able to hear me, and my screen is visible to you all. So, if you have any queries, just type in the chat box. So, let's start this session. Fine. So, it's the last. Session before the extra session that will be held on Sunday, this Sunday. So I would like to make this session a bit more interactive. So I would like to get answers from you guys also for these problems. So let's see how far we are in solving problems through programming in C. So let's start the session with that. So the first question says, which one of the following are themselves a collection of different data types? So the options are A string, B structure, C char, and option D, all of the above, all of them mentioned. So first thing, is this text visible or should I zoom in more? Can you see the text? You can type in the chat box. So can you read the text present on the screen that I have shared? Fine. So yeah, I believe that's good. So yeah, what will the answer for this problem? Which of the followings are themselves a collection of sorry, different data types? So can anyone just answer this question? Okay. So Shreya is answering option B, structure. So that's correct. So if it says are a collection of data types, then it can be a string because string is a collection of different characters. So string is basically a character array. But when we talk about different data types, only a structure can hold data types of different hold variables of different data types. So the other student is answering A, so no, it's incorrect. String is incorrect because string only can contain a collection of data types that are of same data type, control variables of the same data type, that is character. But when we talk about different data types, so let's say we want to talk about a data structure that can store an integer and then also a float, then followed by a character and then integer array, then in that case, only structure can do this thing among the options above. So the correct answer is structure. Fine. The solution is B. Option B. Structure can hold different data types in a single variable. String is a collection of character char data type. Fine. So this is the first answer. So what is actually parsed? So let's move on to the next question. So I hope no one has any doubts in this question. So what is actually parsed if you pass a structure variable to a function? So can anyone just answer? So let's say we are passing a structure variable to a function, then what would be the pass? What would the passed value? So the option is copy of the structure variable, reference of the structure variable, starting address of the structure variable, or ending address of the structure variable. So by now, I hope every one of you know what do you mean by reference of a variable and what is the meaning of address of a variable. So anyone, can you just answer it? So can you answer this question? Anyone? So first of all, every one of you is uh, uh, so everyone, are you familiar with structure by now? So am I audible? I don't see any answers from you guys. So yeah, someone is answering C, starting address of a structure variable. No, it's incorrect. So let's say we have a structure variable, um, struct data, and let's say it contains roll number of a student, um, and let's say character array, or maybe string name. Fine. So, and let's say there we have some function that returns void. There is no return type, and the function name is, let's say, get name from roll. Fine. So you pass in the roll number and it returns the name. Let's say you pass in the structure. Um, so you take in the struct array, struct data arr. So this is the array, and then you take in the roll number, and it essentially what it does, it returns the name. So it returns string. Fine. So here we are passing in. Say let's not pass this struct data d. Let's say, and we want to get the name from this. So get name. That's it. Get name. So let's say we have a function that returns the name given a struct input. So now let's say we have a student. We have struct data d student one. Let's create a student one data. Pass in the roll number one and name Ram, and we pass. We call this function. So let's put it in the prototype. Fine. And now what we do? We call this function from this get name student one, and it will be string name equals to. Fine. Let's define what this function does is basically return d dot name. Fine. So this is the function. This is the struct. So struct should be at the top, I believe. Now you are creating a data like this, and you are passing it to a function get name. So can anyone tell me what it does? So someone of you has answered A, copy of the structure variable. No, no, you have answered C. Okay, it was for the previous question. We are passing starting address of the structure variable. So anyone else? Do you have any answers for this question? So first of all, are you familiar with the structure data type in C? Anyone? Am I audible? Is my screen visible? So I see no responses from you guys. So is there a network problem? Okay, I am audible. Great. Fine. So do you understand what a structured data type is in C? Why do we use structured data types? Fine. So now the question is, let's say we have a structure with name data that contains two variables, roll number, which is integer data type, and name, that is a string. Now we create a function get name that takes a variable from the structured data type data, and it returns the variable value contained in the variable name. So let's say we are creating such a variable named student1 and we are passing that student1 into that function. So within this function get name, what is passed? So I hope every one of you by now know that what is passed by value and passed by reference. So the question is essentially asking, is it passing the reference or is it passing the value what it is passing? What would be the correct answer for this? So one of the students has answered two options. I guess we have got two options. One is starting address of the structure variable. So no, that's incorrect because that starting address is passed for arrays, not for struct. So just be clear with this. Struct is different than arrays. So in arrays, the array name specifies the starting address of the array. So the option B, C is all incorrect. And some of you are answering reference of the structure variable. Okay. Anyone else? Do you have any other option? Okay. All of you are answering B. Let's see if it's correct or not. So unfortunately, the answer is incorrect. So it doesn't pass the reference to the structure variable. It essentially passes the value of the variable. So it essentially copies the structure variable into into another variable. That is the local variable used here. That is D, and that is being passed into the function. The reference is not being passed. So let's say if I change here. So if I make some changes, let's say I change their roll number, not D dot roll equals to 2, and then let's say I print the roll number of student 1 is, and let's say I print the roll number value. So student 1 dot roll, then you will see the answer would be 1. It stood would be 1. It will not be 2. This is because the copy of the struct variable is the past. Okay, someone is saying to zoom the. Now is the text visible? Gaurav, can you confirm? Fine. So yeah, what I was saying, let's say we have this function get name, and let's say in the function I change the role variable or is present inside the struct data D. So what happens you will see when you call this function, then again print the value of stored in the student one struct. You will see the value has not been changed. This means no reference is being passed. Essentially, in C, copy of the structure variable is passed. That's why no difference will be observed. So for this, we can also run this code and see what is going on. So let's write up a simple code for this. Let's create a struct data, and it has int roll number, string name. I believe we need the string dot h for this stuff. Now it should work. Then this, fine. And let's create a student one, and then student one dot name equals to Ram, and then student one dot roll equals to 1. Fine. So there is an issue with string. Okay. So it will require char. Hmm. Fine. So let's create the function get name. D. Let's do one thing. D dot roll. Let's update the roll number to 2 and then return D dot name. Okay. Okay. See, return string from functions. Okay, I will have to use pass by reference here. So let's say I'm getting the name from here. Let's say we are printing the name. We don't need to actually return the value. We can print out student name with is see backslash n and that is d dot name. Fine. So here we are actually updating the roll number and let's see what is happening. So there is some syntax error. Let's see what is going on. Struct. I think, Acha, we can't assign this. So yeah, you can't assign strings in C, arrays in C like this. This is an incorrect. So I will have to copy the data. So I can use str copy. Fine. So let's see what the program does. This will be 2.c. So it's saying percentage C is for integer. I don't remember the exact format specifier. So we can look that up. So percentage S is for strings. So it's not printing anything. Acha, I'm not calling the function. I haven't called the function right now. So let's call the function with the struct student1. And to check if the value of roll number has been updated, let's print this value also. And the roll number is percentage d backslash n and then print the d dot student1 dot. So let's see what happens. So you can see the student name is Ram and the roll number is still 1. So even though we updated the roll number variable in this function, it is not being reflected in the main function, that the caller function. So a copy of the structure is paused, not the reference. So the correct answer would be option A. So the correct answer would be option A, copy of the structure variable. So everyone, were you able to follow this? Acha, someone is saying zoom the code. Oh, I'm sorry. Increase font size. So everyone, can you see the code now? Let me. I don't know what is going on. Hmm. So everyone, are you able to follow this code? So here I have created a struct that contains integer data type roll number, role, and then character value array name. So then I create a function that takes in the struct as an input and then prints the name. Then in the main function, I create a data variable student, and then I copy the string ram to the student one's character array name. So in C, you can't assign values to character arrays directly. So we need to use str copy here. And then we set the roll number to 1 and then call the function. And after calling the function, we see that the roll number variable has not been updated. That was, and the update line was in the function. So this means a copy has been passed, not the reference. Fine. So the correct answer is option A. So everyone, are you able to understand this? Were you able to follow this problem? So if you have any doubts, just type in the chat box. I can explain the problem again. So essentially it is asking what is slow? Raju, can you say that what do you mean by slow, sir? Acha, acha, acha. Okay. Okay. So Raju, can you tell me what is the exact issue that you are facing in understanding this problem? So the question says what is actually passed if you pass a structure variable to a function. Let's say we have a function get name that takes in a structure variable struct data of data type struct data, and then it does some operation on that data, and then the function exists. The question is asking, so what happens? What is being passed to this function get name here if I pass a variable student1 to this function here in the line number 19? So are you able to understand the problem right now? So yeah, your answer is correct. Call by value. Basically, the copy of the structure variable is being passed. Fine. So anyone else, do you have any doubt in this question? If you have, just type in the chat box or we'll proceed with the next question. So I believe there are no doubts. So let's proceed with the next question. Which function is used to write string to a file? So anyone, can you answer this? So all of you are answering option A. Someone is answering option C. So fputs can be used to write output to a stream, and that stream can be a file. So fputs is correct answer. Then fprintf can also be used to write outputs to a output stream, and that stream can be a file. So this is also correct. The difference being fprintf allows you to write a formatted string, and then fwrite is used to write data pointed by pointers into a output string. So option C is also correct. So the correct answer is option D. All of the above is correct. So this is the correct answer. Fine. So the option D is correct. So yeah, read write is different. So one of you is saying uh, uh, all options how. So basically fputs is used to write. So one thing you will notice, all of these options, um, all of these are used to write output to some output stream, and that stream can be a file. So that's why all of these can be used to write string output into a file. So that's why all the options are correct. Fputs doesn't allow any string formatting, so you have to only enter an null terminated string, and then it will just enter it. And then so yeah. So the difference being, so let's see what is the difference between fputs, fprintf, and fwrite. So fputs does not allow formatting, any string formatting. It only allows you to write in null terminated string, or printf allows you to write formatted strings in C. So let's say you want to write something like this. So have you used format specifiers? So when you write, when you say the value of x is, and then you say percentage d, and then you pass the value of x. So this is allowed only by fprintf. Fputs doesn't allow this. Using fputs, you can only type, write this to a text file. Fine. And then fwrite can be used to enter raw data to a text file. That raw data can be of any data type. Fine. So that's why option D, all of these are correct. So all of these can be used to write output to an output stream. They have different functionalities. So puts is similar to printf, yeah, but fputs only allows you to write text data into a file. You can't write formatted text. For formatted text, you have to use fprintf. Fine. So everyone, do you have any doubt? Anyone? So let's proceed with the next question. The next question says find the output of the following program. So let chat box. Fine. So let's see the next question. Find the output of the following program. So we have the main function and we have declared a character array A that contains the specified string. And then we are using a pointer that points to the first address of the first variable stored in A. And then we are doing some pointer operations and then we are printing some values. So can anyone just answer this question? So let's see what is the answer from you guys, and then I will solve this problem for you guys. So someone is saying option A. Okay. Anyone else? Do you want to answer this question? So we have a character array A that contains some string, a set of characters. And then we are using the pointer P that points to the starting address of the character array A. We are doing some pointer arithmetic and then printing some values. Can anyone just say what is the answer? So Shreya has answered option A, that is ABCD. Other than that, do you have any other answers? Actually, you can't see the option. Sorry. Yeah. So, mhm. Some of you are answering option D. So let's see what would be the correct answer for this problem. So let me solve this for you. So let's start. So initially what is happening? P is pointing at the starting address of the array A. That is P is pointing to the variable A, to the value A. So um, let's do one thing. Let's draw a map and then see what is going on here. So let's use sketch. Let's solve this problem. Let's see what should be the answer. Hmm. Let's start. So we have an array A and it contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 character values. Right. And 8. And when we talk about the point, so the question P is as you know, P is a pointer variable that contains the address to the starting of the array A. So what would the starting point? This would be this. So P points to this. So the pointer P points to this. This is the pointer P and it points at this location. So yeah, this is P. So can anyone tell me like what is the address, memory address pointed by the value P plus 1? Can anyone tell me? So let's name these memory addresses. Let's say this is the memory address 1, and let's say character takes 4 bytes. So then it takes 4 plus 1 5. So let's start from 0. See, better would be 100. Let's say we start from 1000. And then let's say it takes 4 bytes, so it would be 1004. And then it would be 1008. And then this would be 1012, 1, 2. Then there should be 1016, then 1020, then 1024, and then 1028. So these are the memory addresses of these different blocks that contains the data present in the array A. Fine. And then P contains the memory address 1000. Then what would be the memory address of P plus 1? What is the value of P plus 1? Can anyone just answer this? So I just want to make sure if you are able to understand pointer arithmetic in C. So by this example, I want to make sure everyone of you understand. Yeah, so Shreya is right. It should be 1004. It will not be 1001 because these pointer increments, whenever you do pointer arithmetic and you increment the pointer by 1, it gets incremented by the amount of data it represents. So if data is of 4 bytes, then it will be incremented by 4. So P plus 1 would be 1004. So yeah. So if, I hope every one of you understands this. So initially P is pointing at 1000 and then we are incrementing P by 1. So now the link of P would change. So let's take eraser, erase this. And now P points to this value, this location. P points to this memory location that is 1004. And then while the value, so everyone you of you are you seeing this asterisk P? Do you understand what this means? Asterisk p. Whenever, let's say we have a pointer, a variable p, and then we want to use the value at the stored at that location, we use the asterisk operator here. So this is also known as the dereference operator. So asterisk p essentially means the data stored at the value pointed by the pointer p. Fine. So now pointer p is pointing at this memory location. So can anyone tell me what is the value of asterisk p here? So what is asterisk p here? Just type in the chat box. This was A, this was B, this was C, this was D, this was E, this was F, this was G, and this was H. So can anyone just say what is asterisk P here? Huh. So asterisk P is P. So it is basically the decrement dereference operator. Then it is checking while the value is not equals to E. So no B is not equals to E. Then what you have to do? You have to print that value and then increment the pointer. So we are dereferencing and then incrementing it. So what would be printed? B would be printed. So definitely option A is not correct. And option C is also not correct. And you can also see option D is also not correct. So let's see, let's go and go to the end and verify if the option B is correct. So first B will be printed. So this value will be printed. And then what happens? The P has been incremented. So this link will be deleted. And now P points to the value at this. Then what happens in the next loop? Again, the value is not E. So it's essentially C. C gets printed and then increment happens. So this link breaks and the values printed are P followed by C. And now P points at this location. So again, the value is not E. So D has been printed and the link is updated. So this link breaks and now P points to the memory location 1016. The value stored at that location is E and it is equals to E. So while loop breaks and the program exits, so correct answer is option B. So every one of you, are you able to understand this? If you have any doubt, just type in the chat box. Solution is option B. Fine. So this is how this program works. So I hope every one of you is now understand how pointer arithmetic works, what is meant by different operations, operators on pointers such as dereference operator. So if you have any doubt, type in the chat box or we can proceed. Fine. So I hope no doubts. So let's So yeah, Raju is typing. Sir, why asterisk P in the second location? So here you are saying why there is asterisk P here. Raju, can you confirm? So yeah, let me tell you why asterisk P is here. So I hope this is the question Raju is asking. So basically, what we are doing here is we are dereferencing the value and then printing that value. That's why we are using asterisk P here. So this is essentially dereferencing the pointer. So it essentially asterisk P essentially means what is the value stored at this location, the location pointed by P. So what you are saying, P to 1004. Initially P is 1004. So yeah, initially P is 1004. No, initially P is 1000. And then we are incrementing it here. Then P becomes 4, 1004. So are you getting it, Raju? So initially P was pointing to 1000. And then what we were doing is we were incrementing it by 1 here by plus plus P. That's why it becomes P 1. It points to 1004. Yeah, fine. So let's go ahead and solve the next problem. So we have a matching problem. On the left hand side, we have some numerical methods, and on the right hand side, we have to answer what this numerical method does, for what application this numerical method is being used. So let's try to solve this. So what is the Newton method? Why it is used? Can anyone just say? Let's answer this one by one. So for what purpose the Newton method is used? Root finding. So yeah, Shreya is correct. Newton's method is used for root finding. So I hope every one of you by now understand what is the Newton's method. So if you have any doubt, then I can answer it for you. So someone is saying option D. Acha, you are answering the question. So yeah, so Newton's, let's say we have a function this, then we want to find the root of this function. We start from this point. Let's say this point. We take the tangent of the function at this point and find the intercept of that tangent, that line, and then we take this point as the second point, and then check if the function value is zero. If it's not, then we repeat. So this is how Newton's method works. So Gaurav is saying, I don't know. Gaurav, do you have any doubts? So do you want? So basically, these topics have been covered in the previous sessions lectures. So you can go through them and understand this topic. So Newton's method is used for root finding. So A2. So let's see which options have this, option A and option D. Let's proceed further. Then can anyone tell me for what Lagrange's polynomial is being used? So Gaurav, you wanted to ask about Newton's method. So I can give a brief introduction, but I can't explain it to the entirety because it has been discussed in the lectures for the previous week. So let's say you have given a function that looks like this, and you want to find the root of this function. I have uploaded the recording of these tutorial sessions on YouTube. I hope that these have been shared with you guys. Fine. So yeah, let's say we want to find the root of this function. So what will be the root of this function? This point will be the root of this function. Then what you do, you take an initial guess. Let's say we take an initial guess. So change the color to red. So let's say we take an initial guess with this point. Let's say we assume that this red point is the root of this function. Then we find the function value at this point and check if it's zero. If it's near to zero. If it's not, okay. If it's not zero, then what you do, you take the tangent at this point and find the intercept of the line represented by that tangent. You get a new point on the x-axis. Now you assume that this new point is the root of this function. And again, you will find out that it's nowhere near the root. So you repeat this process. Again, you take the tangent and eventually you will reach at this point. You will see the value of the function is near to zero at this point. And this is how this method works. So I believe the YouTube link has been shared with you guys. So some of you are asking for YouTube links. The links have been shared with you guys from the NPTEL team. So you can go there and ask for the links. So I have already uploaded and shared the links with them. Fine. So yeah, let's proceed. So Newton's method is used for root finding. You can go ahead and look at the lectures. The Lagrange's polynomial. Anyone, can you answer for what purpose the Lagrange polynomials are being used? So someone is saying option 4, interpolation. So yeah, correct. So B maps to option 4. So by now we already know that option A is correct, but let's go ahead and proceed and solve the entire question. So can anyone tell me for what trapezoidal method is being used? Option 1. So yeah, trapezoidal method is used for integration. And then finally, what we have Ranga-Kutha method. Range-Kutha methods. Can anyone just tell me for what Range-Kutha method is being used? Option 3, differential equation. So yeah, Rangit method is used for solving differential equations. So the correct answer is option A. Solution, option A. So let's proceed with the next question. So yeah, can anyone just answer this question? Let's start by reading the problem. So we have a main function. And what is the output of the following C code? Assume that the address of X is 2000. So let me check if recording is working. Assume that the address of the variable X is 2000 in decimal and in integer requires 4 bytes of memory. So yeah, that's fine. And then we have this function. We are declaring a two-dimensional array and signed integer X that contains 4 rows and 3 columns. So you can see we are assigning the values to the two-dimensional array. And then we are printing some values. So essentially we are printing 3 unsigned integers through this formatted string. You can see we are printing the value of x plus 3, then the dereference value of x plus 3, and then the reference value of x plus 2, and then plus 3. Can anyone just answer this question? And then I will solve this for you guys. So essentially, we have a two-dimensional array that looks somewhat like this. So it has 3 rows and 4 rows and 3 columns. So you can see the values. And the question is asking some values. So you are required to print the value of x plus 3, then dereferenced value at the location x plus 3, then dereferenced value at the location x plus 2, all incremented by 3. So can anyone just tell me what would be the answer for this question? So we all know that an integer, the question specifies that an integer requires 4 bytes of memory. So let me solve this problem for you guys. So we have a two-dimensional spread of array. Fine. So let's say we have a two-dimensional array that contains 4 rows and 3 columns. So let's create a new line. So it contains 4 rows, 1, 2, four. Okay. Fine. And then 3 columns. And done. What's happening? So let's say this is the array, and um, I will have to draw the line again. Sorry for. Mhm. So yeah, this is a layout in which the data is arranged right now. And let's see what are the addresses that we are talking about right now. Fine. So this is the x variable x. So currently it points to the address of this memory location. Fine. And we want to print some values. So let's say this memory location is for 1000. Again, we use the same notion. Theme 1000. And we know that in C, we use row major order. So essentially the memory is spread like this. So first, the first row is in contiguous memory, and then memory is carried forward. So this would be 101, 1008. So it will have starting memory location 1000, and we are considering row major. We have row major order by default in C. Fine. So this is what it looks like. So this block will be represented by will be presented at the memory location 1000. Then the next block in the same row will be present at the memory location incremented by the amount of data that is stored, that is 4 bytes. So this will be presented at 1004. This will be 1008, the starting, and so on. So the next row will start at 1012. So 1, 0, 1, 2. Then the next row will be 10. So for 10, 1000, 1004, 1008, then 1012. So 24, 1024. So this would be 1024, and then 1036. 1036. Fine. So this is how the memory will be spread out. And let's see, let's answer this question. Try to answer this question. So X is a two-dimensional array, and X essentially is pointing at this memory location. And you can see how the data is spread. So X is a collection of rows. So for the array X, the starting address is the like 1000 for us, but for each entry in X is a row of values, and that row occupies 12 bytes of memory because we are considering having 3 columns, and each column occupies 4 bytes of memory. So each row occupies 12 bytes of memory. Every one of you understand till this? So essentially what it is saying, this is a single chunk of data. So I can use a different color here. Okay. So this is a single chunk of data. And then when you increment X by 1, then it comes to this pointer. So if you increment X, if you talk about what is the value X plus 1, okay, sorry. Then let's say we talk about X plus 1, then it comes here because we are always incrementing by the amount of data stored in that variable, and essentially it's a collection of columns, a collection of rows. So in that sense, the X plus 1 will correspond to this, X plus 2 will correspond to this, and X plus 3 will correspond to this memory location. Fine. So every one of you, do you understand this memory layout? Should I make it more clear? It's a pretty much It's a bit complicated, but you will get used to it as you proceed with programming, as you solve more problems. So anyone, do you have any doubt in this pointer arithmetic that we are doing right now? If you have, please type in the chat box so that I can answer your queries. So every one of you understand what I'm doing here. I'm saying x points to the memory location 1000. Now when you increment x by 1, is it not byte addressable? So Chandran, what do you mean by byte addressable? Okay, so you guys are confused with this a bit. So what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying here is, so x points to the starting memory location of this array. This is clear to you all? So x points to this location. And what x is storing is, x is storing a set of rows. So memory location, fine. So X is storing the set of rows. So row one, that is 1, 2, 3. Then row 2, 4, 5, 6. Then row 3, 7, 8, 9. Row 4, 10, 11, 12. And each row is occupying 12 bytes of memory. So X is it's a two-dimensional array. It's not one-dimensional array here. So that's why the first address is 1000, and when you increment it by 1, it points to 1012. Fine. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about here. And then what you do, you print some value. You're printing x plus 3. Then what is x plus 3? X plus 3 is 1036. If the starting address was 1000, but for the question, the starting address was 2000. So that's why the answer would be 2036. So option A looks correct. So let's see option A and C can be correct. So let's see if further answers are correct or not. Then what we are saying what is the value stored at x plus 3? The value stored at x plus 3 is again a pointer, that is 1036. That is the starting pointer of the third row, starting address of the third row. So what is the starting address of the third row? That is 2036. So the correct answer would be 2036. So option A seems correct. None of the others is correct. Then again, you go to the starting address of x plus 2 and then increment it by 3. So x plus 2 is 1024. And then you increment it by 3. That means 1024 plus 12, that is 1036. 2036 in this case. So that's why option A would be correct. Solution is option A. So if you go back and think about the memory, how memory is stored, how the memory is stored in option in a two-dimensional array, then you will get what I'm talking about here. So last two options, why they are 2036. So X is a two-dimensional array. So for X, what X is actually storing? So X is storing the pointer starting addresses of each of the data it stores. So it contains 1000, and then X plus 1 is 1012, 12, and then the third one is X plus 1 is this, X plus 2 is 1. So let me click. Huh. So X contains 1000, then 1012, second element. The third element is 1024, and the third element is 1036. Fine. So this is what is contained by the variable pointer x right now. Now, when you talk about x plus 3 is essentially 1024, sorry, 1036. Then you're referencing the value present at 1036. So what is the value present at 1036? So you have a two-dimensional array, 4 comma 3. You get to the to the value 1036. You're storing some value 1036, and then you want to dereference that value and print that value. And then it's when you dereference x plus 3, this is the address. This actually contains the address of the third row, of the fourth row in this case, the starting address of the fourth row. And that is what is 2036 here. So that's why the second answer would also be printing 2036. Each cell is 4 byte, yeah. And then for the last question, what you are saying, you go to x plus 2, the starting address of the second, third row, that is 1024, and then you increment it by 3. When you increment it by 3, then it increments by, so it's 1024, and now we are talking about a particular row. When you increment it by 3, it jumps to 2036. That's why option A is correct. So where was I? Huh. So Raju, were you able to understand? Yeah, fine. So just try to go back and look at the video. You will get to it. Right. Let's solve the next problem. So can a structure contain pointer to its own type? Can anyone just answer it? So what is the answer for this question? So can a structure contain a pointer to its own type? So let's say we have structure like this, struct data. Can it contain something like this? Struct data pointer pt. Is this possible? Can anyone just answer this? So yeah, you are answering correct. It's yes, and it is such operations, in such implementations are required for implementing linked list where same data type has to be referenced. So option A. Fine. So let's proceed with the next problem. So we'll also, if we get time, we'll also look at linked list and see, and we'll see how to implement them using struct. So let's say this is a program that is present in the main function, and we want to find the output out of the following code snippet. So we have a struct point. It contains two integer values, and tx and ty. We are creating an array that contains two struct pointers. Essentially, it's an array of pointers of data type struct point. And we are creating two structure variables p1 and p2 containing x equals to 2, 1 and x equals to 2. For the second p2, x equals to 3 and y equals to 4. Now we are storing the address of the variable p1 in array at the 0th location and a 0th index, and then array the first index contains the address to the variable p2. And now what we are going to do, we are printing the value ARR at 1. So ARR at 1 is the address of P2, and we are trying to reference the value of Y. So can anyone just answer what is the correct answer for this? So I think it's a pretty straightforward question. So yeah, 4 will be printed. So option D. Anyone, do you have any doubt in this question? Should I explain it? So eventually, if you have doubt, then I will clear your doubt. So essentially, we are creating a pointer array that contains array of pointers of data type struct point. We are creating two structures, P1 and P2, containing these values. We are storing the address of the first into a 0th location and the second into the first location. Now we are trying to reference using this operator, uh, right arrow operator, and we are trying to print the value of stored in the y of that pointer. So ARR at one points to the memory location of P2, and we are trying to reference the value of y for that P2, and that is 4 here. So the correct answer would be option 4. Fine. So these were some basic questions on structs and pointers in C. So after this, we'll solve a few, couple of questions, programming questions on structures in and pointers in C, and then I will take up questions from you guys. So let's have a break for 5 minutes. So we'll meet at, let's say, so we'll meet at 7, 19:20 from my clock. So you can say, I hope every one of you is able to see this clock. It says 19:16, so we'll meet at 19:20. Fine. So, hi everyone. Let's resume this session. So, I hope my screen is visible, and we will start from where we left. So, let's try to solve some programming questions, and then I will take some questions from you guys. So, yeah. So, let's start from basic questions. So, let's take a. mm, hmm. So, let's start with the first question. Create a structure called student with members, name, age, and total marks. Write a C program to take input data for two students to create their information and find the average of total marks. Fine. So let's solve this problem. We'll call it the problem number 9. Programming question. So we have to create a structure with members, name, age, and total marks. And we have to create structure with members, and we have to create two variables, such variables, and store the values. So am I is my screen visible? Am I audible? Struct student. Fine. So let's create the struct um, with char name, int age, and float marks. And we have to create two students, so as we can call them s1 and s2. So let's initialize the values. So let's take inputs from the user and do the operation. So let's take an input. So let's create a temp char name, int age, and float marks. And let's take the inputs from the two students. Printer, kindly enter the details for the first student, \n. Hmm. So let's take in the input. So the first input will be the kindly, let's say name. So what is the name? And then use scanf to store that value. So percentage C and name, and then printf slash age, and then scanf percentage d and age. And then the next thing we want to take in input is the marks. So percentage r and then and marks. So let's create the set the values for this first student. So I will have to use str copy. So that's why we need to use string dot h. And then we can copy the value into the string variable. So we need to copy name into the variable s1 dot name, and then s1 dot age equals to age, and then s1 dot marks equals to marks. Fine. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for second student. For the second student, and then s2 dot name and s2 dot age, s2 dot marks. Let's create a print function that takes in this uh, uh, print struct like this, that takes in this struct. So for that we need a data type. We need a name to this struct. So let's say student, right? And then takes an input struct student as and prints the name, age, and marks. Tab. The student details are as follows \n, and then I will print a name is percentage C or percentage S it was, yeah, and then as dot name, let's print the name, change line, and then print the student age, percentage D, change the line, comma age, and then print the marks, then percentage F, and then marks. It would be student dot age, and here it would be s dot marks. So everyone, are you able to get this? What I am typing right now? So essentially, we are writing a program that creates a struct containing these members. We are creating this struct to use to store data for two students, S1 and S2, their name, their age, and their marks. Then we are prompting the user to give in these details. And we are creating a print struct function to print these values. And finally, we print their details. So let's go ahead and print the details of the students. The student details are \n, and then print struct s1, and then print struct s2. Fine. And then we want to print the average of their marks. Print the average score is percentage 2f slash n, and then print their average marks. So s1 dot marks plus s2 dot marks divided by 2. So let's see what our program does. So geez, let's clear this. Okay, so it has to be double. So what is the format specifier for float? It should be percentage f. Oh, yeah. So the compiler is giving some warnings. Acha. Huh. So there is some issue here. Okay. Sorry. Name backslash n, then age, then marks. So this was the issue. So yeah, I was doing some incorrect stuff here. So I was using the syntax for scanf for printf. That's why it was giving these warnings. So let's see now what are the warnings. Okay. Acha, sorry. There are a bunch of warnings that are arising here due to the name variable. So let's see what is the issue. Acha. So it has to be percentages. So yeah, string for string we use percentage as access specifier. So that's why this was the issue. Uh, and we are so I made two mistakes while taking an as name input. So essentially, the name variable itself is a look point is a pointer and it's pointing to the starting address. So we don't need to use ampersand here. So that's why this was the issue here. So let's see if we are having any more issues like these. So and now, so we are not printing anything but giving the we are specifying that we are printing float here. So now let's clear the issues and then run the. So name, let's say my name is Rupesh. My age is 25. I okay, there is some issue. Yeah, I'm not taking the scanner for marks. Marks and marks. Yeah. So these are some formatting issues in the output. Let's correct them so that the output looks nice. And marks. So yeah, marks is a oh yeah, marks has to be float. So now we have no worries. So I am Rupesh. My age is 25 and let's say I scored 60 out of 100. So let's enter the details of the second student. Let's say we have Lakshay here. His age is 24 and he scores 80. So it's quite brilliant. So the student details are as follows. Okay, there are some formatting issues. So let's first clear up this. Then slash n. Okay. '60. So there are some issues that I'm trying to resolve. Then we'll see the correct output. So essentially, we can see the name is not getting initialized. I want to know why. Hmm. So let's see. I think I am using str copy incorrectly here. Acha. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I have replaced the source with the destination. So str copy essentially takes in input arguments from, we have to copy from name to s1 dot name. So the order was reversed. So that's why this issue was arising. So essentially s2 dot name was the name variable in the struct was blank. So that's why we are getting blank outputs. So let's say Rupesh, the age is 25, marks are 60. Then the other student is Lakshay, the age is 24 and the marks are 80. So you can see the student details are as follows. Name is Rupesh, age is this, and he got this marks. Then again, Lakshay, he got this much marks, and the average score is this. So this is an example where we can use struct data type, struct for storing different data types into a single variable. So do you have any doubts used regarding these? If you have any doubts, so it's session 12. So if you have any doubts throughout the sessions, you can ask me. You can also ask me questions regarding this session and the previous sessions. Please type in the chat box. So someone is asking, sir, can you tell how to prepare for the exam? So basically for any exam, the best way to prepare is go through the all the topics covered in the for that particular program. So should cover study the topics shared taught in the classes, try to solve the problems, practice problems given to you guys, go through all the quiz questions and the questions that I have covered in these sessions, then I hope you will be able to pass this exam. So it's pretty standard. So yeah, just try to solve more and more questions and you will get good grades in this problem. So anyone, do you have any doubts? Then you can type in the chat box. So in this session, we covered a few topics that were advanced topics in C. So if you have any doubts, you can type in the chat box. So Kanwan Singh, kindly can you give us some little info on pointers? So yeah, maybe I can dig up something from the class notes. So yeah, pointers are used to, Acha, maybe a program which can give understanding. So yeah, we solved a lot of programs regarding pointers in this session only. And in also one of the previous sessions, we had some problems on pointers. So let's see. Let's see if I can take some of the problems from here only. This was pretty standard. Hmm. This was an interesting problem uh, where we were doing some interesting stuff using pointers. What can we do? So let's solve a pretty basic problem using pointers. Swap variables using pointers. Swap using pointers. Let's see. And let's see. H void main. So we want to write a function to swap variables using pointers. So let's say int a contains 10, p contains 20, and we want to call a function swap that takes the address of variable a and the variable b and swaps their value. Printf the values after swapping are backslash n a equals to percentage d backslash n p equals to percentage d backslash a b. So I'm solving a pretty basic problem that uses pointers, and let's see. That will help you to understand what actually pointers are. Pointers are essentially simply storing the addresses of variables. So let's see. int int pointer a and int pointer b. So these are the variables you want to swap, and let's swap them. So now what we are saying, we are given two variables a and b. The function, there is a function that takes two pointers as an input. We want to swap the values stored at those locations. So we know that there is an operator, dereference operator, that can be used to access values stored at a particular memory location, and that is the asterisk. So let's create a variable temp that will store the temporary value and get the value stored at the location A. Now what we want to do? We want to put the value stored at the memory location B into the memory location A. So we want to update the value stored at the memory location A, that is asterisk A, with the value stored at the memory location B, that is asterisk B. Finally, what we want to do? We want to update the value present at the memory location asterisk B with the value temp. That was initially the value stored at the memory location A. So let's see what the program does. So it's swap using pointers. So GCC swap using pointers. Acha. Yeah, sorry. It's a void function. So let's run this program. So you can see the values are swapped. Essentially what we are doing, we are passing the memory address locations of the variables A and B. We are taking the values stored at those locations and updating them, swapping them in between. So this is how pointers can be useful in C. So Chandran, are you like are you able to understand the logic behind pointers? So now other complex arithmetic operations that you already saw through problems in this session, like this problem where we tried to do some increment operation on pointers and see where it was pointing to. And then for 2D arrays also we saw an application. So these comprise pretty much most of the applications. So one thing that you might be seeing in pointer arithmetic is subtraction. What happens when you subtract two pointers? So it does nothing. It simply returns the number of elements stored between those two locations. So let's say we want to talk about P, the pointer storing the memory location starting and the end of this array, then the difference will be total number of elements in this array. So this is one more application that you will find for pointers in C. So anyone else? Do you have any doubts that I can clear in this session? So do we get questions on um, interpolation? So I don't know that because I am not preparing the problem statement. Even I also don't know the what format and NPTEL team takes. So essentially, what I know is I have to solve these problems for you guys. These problems are based on topics in the lecture, so I can only help you solve these problems. The I don't know what are the what is the syllabus that is being asked. So yeah. So do we need to manually and then program? I don't know like what is the pattern that NPTEL team uses. So for that you can email them and ask. So Raju is saying the problem solving session link is not available. No, it is available because I have been sharing these links with the NPTEL team. If it's not, you can ask them for the links. You can email them and ask for the links. So yeah, Chandran, I'm sorry, but I don't know what is the pattern being used by the NPTEL team. So when is the next class? So this was the last session, session 12. There will be one more session, an extra session on Sunday. So that would be the last session from my side. So yeah, this Sunday. So do you cover revision? So yeah, I will give a brief revision of all the topics that has been covered in all these 12 sessions. Yeah, Chandran, that I will be doing. No, the timings will be shared with you on the website. Okay. So I'm here till 8. So if you have any doubts, you can type in the chat box. So Raju, you can look for the resources shared by the NPTEL team on their website. So they have shared a very nice book. You can look into that book. So I can't recommend a YouTube channel because I don't know. I myself have not seen any such videos, so I don't know which one is better or not. But you should follow the shared links by the NPTEL team. Chandran, I don't know if I get your question. Can you just elaborate it? As per you, sufficient amount of time available for solving all questions. So I don't know because I mean, yeah, if they are planning for a examination for you guys, so they know the timings that will be required for a student to solve it. So I believe yes. Well, but I don't know what is going on by the and what the NPTEL team plans. So I don't know anything about that. So it's time, guys. Let's end this session.